The founding deed, History of a Utopia. The creation of our university is part of a singular, invaluable legacy. It is the second private university in Peru and was founded in 1961 with the name Universidad Peruana de Ciencias Médicas y Biológicas. The birth of the Universidad Peruana Cayetano Heredia was sui generis and, as far as is known, unique in its origin, its nature, and its materialization. An internal struggle over different ways of conceiving and carrying out the essential missions of the university and its administration as an academic entity took place over the course of several years inside the San Fernando Faculty of Medicine at Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos. Our university was born out of the massive resignation of practically the entire teaching staff of San Fernando, supported by a highly determined minority of its students. In 1959, the Parliament of the Republic discussed the Bill of the University Act, which included some of the postulates of the university reform, particularly that of the co-government of the Student Senate in all public universities. But Article 34 explicitly stated that the representation of professors and students in the government of faculties of medicine, given the nature of their studies, should be ruled according to their own regulations. The law was passed on April 13, 1960, and both the San Marcos University Federation and the San Fernando Medicine Students Center protested against Article 34, which they considered an attempt to suppress students' rights. On May 25, the University Council agreed then to request that San Fernando incorporate the Student Senate. The Student Center went as far as to demand the resignation of the then Dean of San Fernando, Dr. Alberto Hurtado. The teaching staff at San Fernando rallied around him in opposition to the politicization of medical education. A tense and agitated time followed, abundant in suspension of lectures, assemblies, street manifestations, successive strikes, physical aggression, intimidations, and detentions. The newspapers of the time covered the events profusely. On July 4, 1961, the Rector's Office of San Marcos called a plenary meeting to be held in the Paranymph of San Fernando to announce the repeal of Article 34. The Faculty of Medicine decided not to attend, but a young professor, Dr. Leopoldo Quiapo, spoke out clearly and courageously. I bring a discrepant voice to this meeting, because what I have to say here I will repeat elsewhere. I speak out of duty to my moral conscience, so that tomorrow I may look my students in the eyes. But Article 34 was repealed on that day. In the face of these events, the authorities of San Fernando Faculty Council made the resignation official on July 6, 1961. Professors of all categories joined, including those who worked full-time exclusively at the faculty. Within a few short days, over 400 professors had signed their resignation. On July 25, 1961, Dr. Víctor Alzamora Castro, Dr. Hernán Torres, Dr. Jorge Boto Bernales, and Dr. Fernando Porturas Plaza presented a motion to constitute the Cayetano Heredia Teachers Medical Union, which groups together all the professors of San Fernando who unwaveringly maintain their ideals of an authentic university reform. The motion was approved to great applause by the teaching staff, and they elected Professor Honorio Delgado as their president, offering their teaching services to the public for the serious and responsible teaching of medicine. That same night, Dr. Víctor Alzamora Castro, the main proponent of this motion, passed away as a result of a heart attack, a dramatic demonstration of the tension and conflicting feelings of the resigning professors. His death was deeply felt, and his sacrifice is a continual source of inspiration for all generations of Heredians. The massive resignation went into force on August 12. Around one-third of the student body of San Fernando had backed their professors from the very beginning, suffering aggression and hostility by the more politicized groups inside the university. When their teachers resigned, 119 students signed a public declaration of adhesion. Their firm support and impassioned defense did certainly play an important role in the founding act. The resigning professors had to start from scratch and needed urgently to obtain funds. Many of them had worked full-time and exclusively. They had given up their only source of income. A group of students, led by Patricio Sabogal, Gustavo Sánchez Checa, Alfonso Montaño, Jorge Galarza, and others, entered a very popular television show, Scala Regala, in hope of contributing to the newly formed Teachers' Medical Union. On the show, contestants received a prize of 20,000 soles if they completed 4 tasks in a week, and only 5,000 for 3 tasks. The tasks assigned to them were: first, to obtain donations for at least 1 million soles. Second, to cut a 5-centimeter long hair from one end to the other on camera. Third, to project a movie showing a heart operation. Heart surgery was then an impressive achievement, only recently introduced to Peru. And fourth, to find a polyglot able to translate into 7 languages a phrase to be revealed live on the air. The students sought out conversations with entrepreneurs, directors, philanthropists, and wealthy private individuals in an attempt to convince them to support an illusion, a utopia. When they performed the final tally, they found that they had obtained over 2 million soles and a piece of land in La Molina valued at nearly 500,000 soles. The first task was completed, well beyond the requirements. The day of the program, August 31 of 1961, Alfonso Montaño Vidal successfully split a hair lengthwise on camera after having practiced the whole week. Dr. Carlos Pesquiera, professor of chest surgery, presented an open heart operation, and thus the third task was also completed. The fourth task could not be completed, since the person selected was only able to translate the phrase into 6 languages and not the 7 required. The prize from the contest added 5,000 soles to the 2 million obtained for the first task. On September 22, 1961, the functioning of the Universidad Peruana de Ciencias Médicas y Biológicas was authorized by a supreme executive order. Donations received from Peru and abroad made it possible, several months later, to rent a large locale in Midtown Lima. In March 1962, Dr. Honorio Delgado was elected rector of the new university, and Dr. Alberto Hurtado, dean of the Faculty of Medicine. Dr. Leopoldo Quiapo was made coordinator of the pre-medical section in the Faculty of Humanities and Biological Sciences. After the first entry exam, students started classes in May 1962, just 10 months after the resignation. During the official inauguration, Honorio Delgado and Alberto Hurtado were given a long, heartfelt ovation. Their speeches were constantly interrupted by applause. Thus, reality proved that ideals are not merely wishful thinking, but goals that may be achieved through dedication, courage, and faith. The loyalty of the students from San Fernando who transferred to the new university was complemented by the trust of those from different cities and countries who had followed the events as they unfolded and came to Lima to be founding students of Cayetano Heredia, a university that arose from conflicts that appeared unresolvable at the time, but also a deposit of solid ideals and great hopes. 2 years after beginning their work, a group of 18 professors and 3 students decided to draft text that gave form to that wide range of ideas and actions that culminated with the foundation of the university. Mariano Querol, Leopoldo Quiapo, and Ramiro Castro de la Mata coined the term university renewal, not in opposition to the historic reform, but rather as an attempt to specify exactly what the Universidad Peruana Cayetano Heredia sought to represent. A movement from inside the institution itself, an examination, dispassionate where possible, and certain of its strengths and weaknesses, and a clear exposition of the basic ideas that shaped the new university. A small volume entitled Fundamental Approaches of University Renewal saw the light in 1967, as a result of this devoted self-examination. This university renewal must dedicate its utmost efforts to the cultivation of 2 areas, both essential to the conception of being and knowledge, science and humanism. A third edition of this booklet was printed in 2011. The doctrinary concept of the university renewal and the renewal itself appeared as a response to the perception of prevailing arbitrariness and chaos in the Peruvian universities of the 50s and 60s, but were not a blind pronouncement or one bound to an agenda, as was the custom in the institutions whose reality it was attempting to change. The university renewal, Cayetano Heredia itself, recognized the value of the ideas of reform and salvaged them with declarations and actions carried out in the name of a different idea of university. As stated during the culminating moments of the founding act, it was only an effort to remain in step with the march of history. The foundation of the Universidad Peruana Cayetano Heredia has all the markings of a profound and transcendental historical event, exemplary in its singularity and its meaning. Its founding act contained all the ingredients of conflict, heroism, and sacrifice, decision-making, and the clear exposition of ideas, distress, but never doubt, never the surrender of inalienable principles, unity, and commitment to everlasting truths.